Hello, my name is Paul Wilkinson and I'm here with my good friend and artist, musician, writer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, me? Yes.
Friend.
Oh, bless you. Yeah.
And we thought it'd be nice to talk about your sketchbooks.
Yeah. All right, Paul. Yeah. So I've got I have many sketchbooks for my art, and this is the latest one actually. And I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about keeping a sketchbook, even if you're not an artist. I think to have a book where you draw and write, your visions, your ideas, things that happen to you, is a really good thing because it embellishes your life, it helps you understand things, and it introduces you to deep aspects of yourself that you might not be aware of too. So it's a really good thing, and it's really nice. It's a nice thing to do. It's a lovely, enjoyable thing. It's very relaxing as well, to keep a sketchbook. So this is one I've got. It's hardback. This is A4 size. The paper inside is quite nice, slightly off-white. It's not too thin, so it's nice to have, spend a little bit on a sketchbook. So you might spend £8-9 or something like that, but that could last you a whole year. So it's not expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And something like this, you can draw in it with pencil, pen. You can use colours. You can even use paint in it. If you've put too much water into the paint, say for instance, it might buckle it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's only a bit. And the thing about a sketchbook as well, is not to be too precious about it. Mine's got a few knocks in the corners and stuff like that where I've dropped it, or it might sometimes have a bit of mud on it, moss on it if I've been out.
And I was just going to say, you always take it with you.
Yeah, no, I don't always take this size with me. I might have a smaller one. So this is A4. You could have like an A5, which is half the size, or an A6, which would be quarter. You can also go up to A3, A2, A1, depending on what you want to use it for.
Yeah.
So this is nice, A4. I usually use an A4 or an A5.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But sometimes I have a little A6 with me if I can chuck in the rucksack if
It's
I'm wandering somewhere.
Yeah.
But,
and it would be right to say that this is where, well, all your big paintings and all your visions and all your the middle bit of the creation, when the creator and the creator are in the middle, and this is where all your ideas are then.
Yeah. I mean, for instance,
poured out.
I mean, I'll show you this. This drawing here is a green man. So that just came out of me, and I started to draw, and you can see that there's a bit of detail near the eyes, around the nose, and then there's a bit of patterns where the leaves are, and then it gets rougher and rougher around the edges. So it's like a primal vision, shall we say. And then if I like that idea, I might then go up and draw it out a bit more, and then make it into a painting, etc. So this one, that actually became a drawing of a green man, a colour drawing.
Right.
So, but then, I'll have things like, and down here, this corner, that's my first vision for the Fox in the Snow, the Winter Wayfarer painting.
And when you say vision, do these come as very sort of strong events? When did you say that when you might remember whether you were out in nature or whether you were at rest? Do you see it fully formed?
Well,
it's a hard thing to talk about, I know.
It varies. It really varies. This is why a book like this is great, because it might be that you're out and you experience something. So I might be walking in a wood and a deer comes along, and it's really beautiful. It's an enchanting moment. It's wonderful. So I might have my book and I think I need to remember that, and I just might write some words and might do a few squiggly lines. I mean, really squiggly, rough lines. But it's like when I do that, it imprints upon my mind a memory of what happened. So that's one.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's other things. So you might start to draw, and it's almost like an automatic thing. You're drawing, and then you're drawing. You're not putting the lines, etc., onto the paper, what happened is you're revealing what's underneath that paper, and
Right,
the image, the feeling, experience is then taking form on the paper before you. The image is
Right,
coming out,
okay.
but you're helping it. So you're kind of meeting halfway. So imagine let's do this in a sort of story mythological way. You're looking down on the water.
Yeah.
You put your hand upon this water. So the water's calm. You put your hand upon it, and then something comes up.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
meet on that surface.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're finding, and they're finding you. You're connecting.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. And like I said, it doesn't just have to be a drawing. It can also be words.
Yeah.
So if something does happen, some big events, it's very hard to draw it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good actually to use words. And you don't need to use many words. You could just use 1 or 2 words. Like, I don't know, you remember something like the sun almost burned the branches of the tree. You can write that, and
Yeah.
then that gives you this amazing image in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to draw that.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you can go away and be sat here or wherever you are, and then reconnect with those words, can't you?
Yeah.
And then you're right back to it. I mean, I have a. It's very tiny. Not many musicians use these books, but they're just these tiny books, and I make little notes of just melodies and things. Just when they come to me, they're not fully formed, but I might just write it. Obviously, I have the ability to hear that and write that down. I mean, some people might find that a bit trickier, but
So you just like there's a melody that comes, and you get a few of the notes down, and that might change when you come back to it later on, perhaps.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll never forget a funny story. My old teacher Billy, he kept. I would ring him up. He's passed over now, but I would ring him up and he'd say, "I keep having this bloody idea for another violin concerto." You know, he said. Anyway, other night I was dreaming it, and he woke up and he says, "I went to me music and I wrote it down. So hopefully the bugger will go now. I wrote it down." He says, "I haven't got time for starting to write a second violin concerto." But you know, for him it was it was quite cathartic. It was the idea that if he wrote it down, it may leave. I mean,
That's a very interesting point, because some stuff in the sketchbook will never become a finished artwork.
I was going to ask you that actually.
Yeah. So it might be an interesting. He's trying to get things out. So you might have you might feel a bit down or something like that, and you don't feel good. So you might sketch it out. You draw these things out. You know, like these little devils who nag at you. So you can draw them out. You can put them into form. You know, like a creature of doubt. You know, it's like doubtful creature. I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna. So you can draw it. And by drawing it, you're expelling it in a sense, or you're looking at it and you're going, and then you might think, what does that mean? And you're drawing this feeling. You're giving it form, an image, and then you look at it and you think, gosh, I didn't know that was in me. What does that mean? Yeah. This must mean something. So you are creating something, but also you're expressing what's inside you in a form that you can visually see and read, which then, from that process, can tell you things and show you things that perhaps you might want to really pay attention to. That are very, very important. And it doesn't always have to lead to, like I say, a finished thing. The actual act of doing something
is the thing.
That. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like the pilgrimage. So you walk out into the land to find the shrine. Okay, there's a shrine at the end, but the actual pilgrimage is just as important. And that's the same thing with the drawing here. To actually draw something out. That's it.
That's it.
It's and then what you do with these things, you look back at it. So I've got these going back years.
Yeah.
It's like a diary, a really deep diary, and you see that and you go, wow, why was I thinking that? You see, look here, I've got a picture of a minotaur.
Yeah.
So, and I was having doubts, I was having anxieties, and the minotaur came out.
Yeah.
And you know, you look into the symbolism of minotaurs and why and what they mean. So there's things like that come out. And again, look, I've done the picture, the angel of grief. As my dad passed away, I had visions of angels of grief, I couldn't quite put them in form, so I started to draw it, and then it made sense.
10 cents to it.
So,
and all these things, it brings to mind anthroposophy. If people are familiar with Rudolf Steiner, he would say it all comes through here as well. All this stuff is coming through your hands.
Yes.
Whether there's that kind of thing is going on through these, not the intellect necessarily.
It's a very much a physical thing as well.
Yeah.
In fact, when I draw a vision, a primal vision, I call it, like a raw vision, a primal thing, it's coming out, that's it, like a raw emotion.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it into form. I often find I'm physically drained afterwards. If it's intense, it might only last 10 or 15 minutes to draw this out, It depends, but it can seem a long time. And as I do it, sometimes I find my head moving down towards the paper because I'm so immersed in it.
Yeah.
It's almost like I am diving into it. And it is powerful. It's really powerful. And you look at it and think, gosh, and it might let you come back to it, and then you start to realise what it is afterwards. So this is why sketchbooks, again, are very important. You can't always articulate what it is at the time or understand what it is at the time. It might be with the passing of time that you come back to it and realise what it is that you're doing as well. And it might be that you open up your sketchbook in the future, you open it up, this does happen. You find something that you did 2-3 years ago or wrote, and it's so relevant to the precise moment that you're opening it up.
So what we're saying really, isn't it, is that, and you're involved in some work with various people about getting back to sketching every day to help these people release their sufferings and anxieties and stress of work and all those kind of things.
Yeah,
the power of sketching.
Yeah, because you kind of you're just saying, and it's saying how you feel inside. You're drawing it out, and it's very therapeutic. It can be very revealing too. So sometimes you need a break from it, but also just actually to get a sketchbook and just to doodle, as we say, just to draw patterns within that is a very calming thing to do. I do that a lot of people, and they love that. But then, funnily enough, interesting how these patterns come pictures and images, which then gives them an intelligence of what they're doing, their knowledge, and they really see things. It's really profound. It's very profound, yet it's a lovely thing to do. So, I mean, I'd highly recommend having one. You don't have to be an artist to have a sketchbook. In fact, don't think about it's got to be a finished thing, it's got to be this, and don't think someone's going to judge you. They're not. No. This is your personal thing.
You only have to look at children to see how much they just draw all the time and how much they love that. So that's what we're saying.
It is a very childlike thing where you just go in your drawing, you think, what shall I draw? Sometimes just draw, and then work out what you're drawing. Yeah. Rather than knowing beforehand, this is what this sacred book, your sacred book, does.
Yeah, so get your own and get sketching today.
Yes, and tomorrow and day after.
Yeah, every day.